Hello, my name is Laurel and I am back with another video on homeschool science and what kind of eclectic approach you might want to take. As an RC family, Robertson curriculum is the base of our homeschool education, but I do call this RC Plus because I do pull in other things we're interested in or that I need to meet state requirements, such as science in the early years. So I talked about 3 science options in my last video, and I'll link that down below for you in case you want to go back and see it. I thought I would just show you a couple more things that we actually have done and enjoyed and what our thoughts were on them. Okay, so I've seen these books a lot. The Julia Rothman, there's Nature Anatomy was the first one, and we loved it so much that I got Food Anatomy, Ocean Anatomy, and Farm Anatomy. So these are the 2 I've done so far with the kids. I really wanted to love Farm Anatomy. I don't know. It just didn't spark any joy for any of us, really. I don't think. It felt more like work. I don't know what it was. I really wanted to like it, but we loved Nature Anatomy. So if you were like if you had to, you're working in your budget and you had to pick one or the other, I'd pick this one, hands down. And I'll talk to you like a little bit more about how we started out. This is so funny. So I didn't even know about these. I saw this on Amazon, which is something that was made to accompany that, and it's Nature Anatomy Activities for Kids, Fun Hands-on Learning. And so I was going through this and I really liked it. When we did it, we were going just through this for this itself gave so much good information and like little activities we could do. And we didn't do all of them or anything. You could get by with just, I think, doing this book. And, but this really was lovely to have, and I'm glad that we have it. I'm just a sucker, I think, for like a set. If there's like a set of anything, I want to complete the collection. This one was so good though. So I would recommend both of these, but if you had to just get one, you could get away with this. I would just go with whichever one is cheaper. And if you like hands-on stuff, then this will have some hands-on stuff. I tend not to like much more. I mean, the school is kind of more of our study time. So when we're doing structured stuff like that, I mean, we did do some stuff. It can't be something that requires me to go out and get a bunch of stuff, and I'm not gonna wait a week or 2 to see results. I remember we got this crystal growing thing one time. I had to sit out on my counter for weeks while these crystals were growing. So if you're like me, don't feel bad. If you skip some of these, it doesn't make you a bad parent or something. What I also didn't know, or maybe came up with it later, and I got it for the later editions, is that those books, somebody else has made notebooking pages to go with them. And I'll link those down below too. So when we did our Farm Anatomy, I printed out the regular notebook for my older son, so he would have been like 5th grade when we did that. And then it came with these blank notebooking pages for all ages, and I just bound those together for my 1st grader at the time. So I'll show you kind of the difference. This was much, it gave actual instructions. It just asked them to look up a lot, pull a lot more information. I do like that it was making him learn how to use his resource. So it would tell him, and this saves me a lot of time, read pages 132 to 139 of Farm Anatomy and fill in the blanks with the information you learned. So it would specifically ask questions, and then it told him where to find it, but he would have to learn how to go back and find it, which I think is that's an important skill to have. But lots of room for drawing, and I just basically checked that it was done. So Will's, it would just have basically the texture triangle. He was doing a lot of copying pictures out of the book, which was fun. I mean, he was good at it. And then, of course, he loved if he got to color something. And they have these for all 4 of those books. So I will definitely be printing them out. And sometimes I'd give him a little bit more. Like he was supposed to like cow breeds. I was like, just give us 2. So I wrote, draw me the Brahmin and the Texas Longhorn. And then he had to list some facts, right? I like these. I think these notebooks are totally worth it. You don't have to get them. Like I said, if it's not in the budget or whatever. So last year, I started out doing a lot of things. I switched curriculums. So I was like just doing stuff on the fly. Like, I found Robinson curriculum. I was at my wit's end, like absolute wit's end, and I came across this video, and I'll link it down below too, from Karen at our house, and I'd never heard about RC before, and I was like, that is it. I have to do that. Like, that is gonna save my sanity. And I'll talk more maybe about how I use RC like as an ideology in a different video. But anyways, I was just coming up with things as I was going, like just like on the fly. And you might be in that position right now. That might be why you're looking for science for elementary age years, for homeschool, whatever, on YouTube, right? So I just had a notebook, and we were doing every single subject in the notebook. So I was having him do some copy work here, and I actually just wrote it, and he was tracing over it, which took up so much of my time. And that's why I created the copy work that I created, because I couldn't stand every day I was having to like copy things in so he could have a model to copy after. It was driving me nuts. Okay, so that was this math and nature. This isn't the nature one. You can see where we got to landforms and landscapes. So I was basically setting up for him basically the same idea as like the notebooks that you can just download and print out now. But it was just taking a lot of my time to do that, and mental energy trying to decide like what to have him do, what's appropriate. It's a big mental energy suck, right? There's those mountains. And then I would also, a lot of times, there'd be certain things. I would go into Teachers Pay Teachers, and I would just search for free resources. I'd put in, like, I remember I found one about the life cycle of a frog, and it was free, because it talked about that in the book. And so if I ever did anything like that, this isn't that one, but it's a different one. I found a free resource about producers, consumers, and decomposers, which was something that was talked about in the book. And so if I ever could find like a free resource like that, I would print it out and use it, and then I would just staple it like straight into his book. And then, sometimes we'd get creative. Like, I'm not one to go on Pinterest a whole lot. It's kind of, here's the life cycle of the frog one. But like, we did some really fun stuff too. Like, we went outside and we tried to like do tree ring rubbings. I think that was something that was suggested maybe in here. So this will give you ideas, and sometimes you can just do something similar if you can't do exactly, like I don't have rubbing paper and, charcoal or whatever. I was like, a crayon and some printer paper we'll have to do. We'll see how it goes. So this is one we made paint, like watercolors out of petals, and then this was a free print. Off of Teachers Pay Teachers. I just printed out and we painted it. Anyways, it was like one of our funnest activities, and I still remember it, Like, see, we were very scientific, and we tested the different colors, made little color strips. So that was really fun. But I was like happy that I found out that there was notebooks for it. So when I'm definitely doing that book again with Bo when he gets older, and I will use the digital notebooks. I'll print it out. So some other things. So I haven't done the food anatomy one yet, but I'm ready for it. Or the ocean one, and it has its own too. So I can't like speak if those are good or not, but I plan on trying them out at some point, especially the ocean anatomy one. And of course I got a Berenstain Bears Under the Sea, because I figure when I'm doing this one with the older boys, my youngest, he's gonna want something to be involved too. So this is gonna be his book, because he loves the Berenstain Bears. Got to keep everyone involved and like busy, Those 4 books could, easily be 2 years worth of, science if you wanted to make them that. Okay, I had to take off my sweater. I got really hot. Okay, so another thing I wanted to show you is these DK books. I've got a couple of these on different topics. So this one's Nature Treasures and The Wonders of Nature, and I use these as reference books when I was doing the nature anatomy, and they just like, I love that the pictures, and they can see something really close up, and it gives just a little more information to add to it. And then keratin, rattlesnake rattle on there, see, If they can't read, this is neat very well because they have a picture index. So they could look for a picture of what they're looking for, right? If they were, you know, studying butterflies, which they definitely did, I could maybe look up my anthology of intriguing animals, go to the table of contents, and there's little pictures next to the words. So if they can't read, you know, they can look for a little picture. So then they've got, I see a little blue butterfly on page 184, right? To look at butterflies. Is that pretty? I really liked learning about the butterflies. Okay, so I use these DK books a lot, and I've got one for the universe, one for dinosaurs. I really want an ocean one. So I do think, I mean, that's nice to have, but you don't have to have it. You know, we did, like I said, looked up a ton of stuff on Sci-Fi Kids on YouTube, and so they had almost every subject we ever needed to look up. So another option is, so you're using, you know, so this is your guide. What you're doing is you're reverse engineering curriculum. You're not trying to reinvent the wheel. You're not going, I need to teach my child about ... and then what do I need, and then trying to find those things. What you're gonna do to make your life easy is you're gonna just pick up, you probably have stuff like this around the house. You're gonna pick up something science related, and you're going to turn to the table of contents. This is your curriculum plan. This is your plan. It's already there for you. Like basically the table of contents is gonna be your guide. And then you can choose, you know, what you, if you want to skip something. I like this book a lot, the DK book, Mammoth Science. And it's got really cute, like illustrate, look at this mammoth. They're like melting him out. Leads in a logical way from subject to subject, and like I said, you don't necessarily even have, this wouldn't necessarily last you, like just last you years, because it's just a good jumping off point. Then you can just go to some place like Teachers Pay Teachers and look for free resources, right? Or just go to the library and pick out books that go along with the subject, you know, so you can get a little more in depth about it. Another one that's a really affordable option is, so if you have something like a spine, something like this as a supplement, is something like this. I really love the Dover, is it Dover or Dover? How do you say that? I really love their little coloring books. All of this information in there, and then the kids get, especially the ones that can't really write a lot yet and take notes a lot yet, like your first grader, second grader. This is such a good resource, things like this. You have this earth one. So let's say I was doing, what if you had like a 5th grader and a 1st grader, and you wanted to do this with your 5th grader, and you could give this to your 1st grader, so they could just be like coloring and listening and, you know, watching any videos you play and stuff while you do, you know, more complex stuff with or notebooking pages with the 5th grader, you know. So I like this balance. I'll show you some other ones of those I picked up. So I got this, my first book about outer space. So it's another one of those Dover books, and it gives all these facts while they color in, and these are so affordable. See, the mysteries of the universe. I got this one too. So I love to have a book and a visual. I love to have something that's beautiful and like keeps their attention, but it isn't a screen. So I thought about, you know, having something like a book like this, we can go through it. So basically I'm going to open up the table of contents, which is huge. There's so much here. It starts with Earth's atmosphere, then it moves to night sky, meteors, meteorites. So I love that they're not random. These are like, you know, there's a rational progression of these subjects. So for you built in already. So that, because what I don't like is when things just are kind of all jumbled up. I want my, whatever I'm learning to build on itself. I mean, in kids, like, why wouldn't we do that for them too? So I think this would be great. And then if you could top it off with, like, you could visit I think Answers in Genesis is a good place to look. You know, there's documentaries and things to watch. That you can just do a little bit at a time, you know, and you could then look at what you saw in the documentary. You could go to the library and just check out a book on that, you know. So you can be really flexible. Here's another one, Smithsonian Science Year by Year. If you want to do year by year, this would pair really well with my science, famous scientist outline. assignment and the articles from RC. But if you didn't have the articles from RC, you could do something similar like with this. I'll link that assignment down below. I talked about it in my last video. But, you know, they're going to be talking about map making, math symbols, compassionate surgery. So I think something like this is just really good to have, like, with your encyclopedia set and stuff as a reference book. Now, I do have a more formal science curriculum that I bought, but I haven't used it yet. It's from Apologia, and it's the Earth Science, and I liked it because it came, I'm so into these notebooks, and I liked it so much from using it with the Julia Rothman books, the notebooks that we found for that I went ahead and got the notebook for that as well. Like, I would have so much rather had something like this to work in when I was growing up than just, we were just like, all it was read a chapter, do the comprehension questions, read a chapter, it was just always the same thing over and over. And they just have such a variety of activities and like beautiful like color and pictures, so you're not just like putting them to sleep. So Earth Science, exploring creation with Earth Science, and it's nice because it's gonna have a Christian worldview to it. You've got, like, that's the thing about DK stuff, it's definitely secular, I guess. They're definitely gonna be saying things in there that I don't always 100% agree with, especially you gotta be watching. You see this all the time. I always have this problem with dinosaur books. Like, they just state things as fact, and I'm like, you don't know that to be a fact. You know what I mean? Like, they don't say, this is the argument, this is the evidence. They just state it as fact now. And that's frustrating to me. Like, that's not very scientific to me. It's not very honest. So, yeah, this is a beautiful book. It's got tons of images and things to look through. I like that the paragraph titles are in a different color because it just helps your eye, you know, find it quickly. Yeah, so, I mean, I was gonna do this one this year with Everett for 6th grade. But he's been liking these so much that he wanted to keep going. And he really wants to do the space. He really wants to do the space unit that I was going to do with his brother and stuff. So I told him he could do that before he started the Earth Science. But that's pretty cute, though. It's pretty funny. I also think that things like anatomy and health and things, you know, you can use that as that's your science. So here I have one. I'll show you. What about homeschool health? Health can be considered a science topic, right? Okay, I'll show you what I've got. I have a 6th grader and a 2nd grader that I'm trying to combine, you know, certain subjects with. So science, like health is one of those. I wanted to do like an anatomy unit. So I'll show you some things I picked up. All right, so another Dover coloring book. I love how many like facts they give in here and how the pages are really intricate and how long it takes them to color is like more time that they're just dwelling over the page. Human Anatomy for Kids. Got this little book. I'll link all this stuff down below in case you're interested in looking at it. What's a blood type? Take your pulse. Let's eat, talking about digestion, the liver, the appendix. And it does have a little section called Grow Up. Yeah. We have chickens, and the other day Will asked if we were ever going to have any baby chicks. I said no, because we don't have a rooster. He said, why do you need a rooster? And I said, because the rooster has to fertilize the egg. And he said, how does he fertilize the egg? And I said, well, he gives a cell to the mama chicken. And he said, how did Dad give you a cell? I said, I'll tell you later. Let's see, other stuff for this unit. So I got this Dr. Livingston Jr. It's a 100-piece puzzle. So that would be fun, I thought, to do, like, you know, let him get, like, maybe on a Friday. You know, you want to have, like, fun days for your subjects. This was, I believe this was free. I found this online. The Homeschool Compass. I'll try to find it and link it down below. But it was a little printable pack. So I thought I'd better, you know, check it out. It's free. And it looks pretty good. Look. So I guess you can they can do this labeled picture of the circulatory system, and they can maybe try to do it on their own. I don't know. Or if they want to just have them copy it. But they have the filled out version too. Okay, more fun. I had to get Operation. I thought this would be like the reward for finishing the unit, is just like getting to play Operation, like have some popcorn or something that day. Oh yeah, we got guy stuff, the body book for boys. So Everett's like 11 and a half. So this is gonna be assigned reading for him, talking about, you know, health stuff and eating well and braces and brushing your teeth and taking good care of your body and hygiene and stuff like that. So this is going to be his, you know, his reading. And then we got this DK human body book. The kids constantly, this is up on the shelf in the cabinet. Will and Bo, who's only 4, are always taking it down, and like they're so interested. They're really interested in the eyeball, seeing what the eyeball looks like. So, yeah, this is a cool book. Look, the cardiovascular system. So this would be cool. We can get this out and we can do that big puzzle, you know, and then we can try to like maybe find the aorta in the puzzle by looking at this or something. And then like years ago, we bought Everett some of those models that you put together, and I'm sure I bought them on Amazon, so I'll try to find them and link them down below. So we're gonna try to put together, she's got one of the brain and one of the heart and like the skeletal system. So we'll try to put that together too. That'll be fun. And then try to, you know, talk about the parts. It's just like the more you kind of go over the same stuff, you know, and just kind of talk, just give an activity. We just learn so much through discussion at our house. And then, I don't know, if anybody has any, I like to have some kind of like video component. So if anybody knows, like, has any good videos or like documentaries or, I don't know, educational series on health or the human body that would be good for elementary age, share it down below so we can all check it out. Okay, thank you. I'll talk to you guys again soon.